There's going to be a lot of changes to the credit card game in 2025. There's going to be increased annual fees, nerf cards, and I think there's going to be a couple new premium travel credit cards that's going to shake out the market a little bit. So let's get straight into it with my first prediction of 2025, and that's going to be that American Express raises the annual fee on their Platinum card, as well as expanding their coupon game by not giving you any meaningful statement credits to reduce the effective annual fee. 4 years ago, they increased the price up to $695, and I think now 4 years later, they're going to bump their $695 annual fee up to $995. And that might sound insane to you considering that their annual fee is currently the highest on the market, but if you look at the Platinum card in Mexico, the annual fee is $1,300 if you were to convert it to US dollar value. So in other countries, they've pretty much already done this. I also don't expect this card to get that much better with an annual fee increase. Right now, they have a couple of decent credits. They have the $200 airline credit and then $200 hotel credit, as well as a $200 Uber cash credit, which is okay, but the rest of them are really more coupons in my opinion. They have $100 to Saks, which is like a luxury designer brand that I've never shopped at in my life. They have an entertainment credit, which is okay. And then they have a Walmart Plus subscription and then some other pretty much useless things. The reason that people get this is because one, it's kind of a status card. When I talk to people that aren't really in the credit card game and don't really know anything about credit cards, I hear that they still want to eventually get the Platinum card one day, kind of because they assume it's like the rich people luxury credit card. They compare it to like an Aston Martin or BMW or like a luxury car or something, but no one's really getting it because it makes sense to have in your wallet. Staying with American Express, my second prediction is that they're going to give the green card a refresh. The American Express green card is the worst of their cards in my opinion, and it has not been changed since 2019. This January, they're taking away the Lounge Buddy access, which is one of its best features, and after that, this card is going to be pretty useless. So I think in the next couple months, this card is definitely going to get a refresh. I've never really been a fan of this card. It kind of does everything okay. It gives you 3 points on dining, travel, and then ride shares. A lot of people use it for Uber and Lyft. So currently this card has a $150 annual fee, and I expect them to hike it up probably to $250, maybe $200, somewhere in that range. I think if they gave some Uber credits, that would make a lot of sense because like I just said, a lot of people are using this as their rideshare card, and then maybe some dining credits, hopefully not Resi because I think Resi is pretty trash. I wasn't happy with them adding it to American Express Gold. An airline credit would be nice, but I don't really see them adding that. So I think American Express is going to take a big step back in the next year, with them already devaluing the Gold card by giving that increase and then not good enough statement credits. And I think they're going to do the same thing for their Platinum and Green card. For American Express's cards as a whole, I think that this is going to do a lot of damage, but I'm honestly okay with that because none of these cards really gives enough value for them to be held in my wallet long term. And higher annual fees also mean higher sign-up bonuses. I view American Express cards as kind of smash and pass, hit it and quit it kind of cards where I can just get the sign-up bonus and then close it down. That's what I'm doing with my American Express Gold card right here. I opened it up when it was offering 100,000 points, but after that, it doesn't make enough sense to keep in my wallet, so I'm going to close it down, and I plan to use the same strategy with the Platinum card. So if they do increase the annual fee, I think that's okay because I could probably get a limited time offer for 200,000 points and then close it down after that. So I'm pretty happy. So if you're viewing these cards like that, I think it's okay. But for long-term card holders, it's probably not going to be a good thing. My third prediction of 2025 is Chase taking over the Apple card. So if you guys don't know, Apple partnered with Goldman Sachs back in 2019, but they approved a bunch of people with really bad credit and people that didn't really know about credit cards or how to use them responsibly. So what ended up happening is all these subprime borrowers came in, put a bunch of purchases on their Apple card, and then never made payments or stopped making payments after a while. And then those debts had to be sold off to collections, losing Goldman Sachs billions of dollars. So Goldman Sachs wants out, and it's looking like Chase is going to take it over. Now, I think this means 3 things for the Apple card. The first thing that Chase is going to do is make stricter approvals and credit limits. Like I said, Goldman Sachs was approving way too many subprime borrowers, as well as giving them too high of a credit limit. So Chase is going to be a lot more stricter so they can make this card profitable. I also think that Chase is going to kill the high yield savings account that comes with the Apple card. Chase has never had a high yield savings account. They usually only offer 0.01%, which is pretty much nothing. So if you have the Apple card, you might want to consider opening up a high yield savings account from someone like UFB Direct. I also think that they'll add a sign-up bonus, probably around $100. Maybe they'll bump it up to $150 when a new Apple product releases, kind of like how they do it with the Amazon Prime Visa. But I definitely think adding a sign-up bonus is something that they'll do, considering that every single one of Chase's cards and co-branded cards have a sign-up bonus. Sticking with mediocre metal cards, my fourth prediction is that the Robinhood card gets nerfed. At first glance, the Robinhood card is super attractive. They give an uncapped 3% with no foreign transaction fee, which is completely unheard of. The highest that flat rate credit cards out there give is 2% back on every single one of your purchases, so that 3% seems really good at first. But there's a couple problems. Number one, it doesn't come with a sign-up bonus, while those other 2% flat cards give you $200 in upfront value. But the main reason why I think this card is going to get nerfed is because every single other card that came before it and tried to give you something like 3% back ended up getting nerfed. If you look at the X1 card that Robinhood acquired and pretty much replaced with this new Robinhood Gold card, that card gave you 3% back for any users who spent over $155,000 on it a year. But that was quickly changed to a tier system that significantly reduced how good this card was for higher spenders. And now you can't even apply for this card at all. And you see the new fintechy Robinhood crypto cards get nerfed all the time. You saw that with the X1 card, the Crypto.com debit cards, the PayPal Master card. Pretty much every card that tried to be innovated didn't last very long. And the main reason why is when the CEO of Robinhood asked if he could commit to keeping these rewards long term, he said no. So that pretty much tells you everything that you need to know there. And I'm pretty confident by the end of 2025, these nerfs are going to happen. Staying with the whole Crypto.com fintechy cards, my number 5 predictions for a card that just got announced, but no one's really talking about. So right now, Crypto.com has a bunch of different debit cards. I have one here, and the way that it basically works is that you have to buy Crypto.com's coin, CRO, and then you have to stake it, so you have to hold it for 6 months. And if you stake more of their coin, you get better debit cards with higher rewards. These cards are kind of mid. I did a couple of reviews on them. They're not really worth adding to your wallet unless you're a huge CRO fan. But about a month ago, Crypto.com sent me an email giving me a roadmap for their 2025 plans. And in Q2, they're doing cool things like adding a stock exchange and a bank account with multiple currencies. But the thing that stood out to me is in Q2 of 2025, they're launching a new credit card. This is going to be an actual credit card, not a debit card like all their other cards. And outside of them launching this card in Q2 of 2025, we don't have any real information. But based on other crypto cards and what they've done in the past, I think I have a pretty good idea. I don't think that there's going to be any staking requirements. I assume as long as you have decent credit, you can go in and get approved. Now, this card's almost certainly going to give you your rewards in CRO coin. I doubt that there's going to be any kind of sign-up bonus. If there is, you're going to get it in CRO's token. And it's no doubt going to be a metal card. They already have all their debit cards metal, so this credit card's definitely going to be metal. I think that they're going to go down one of two routes. One, they're going to give you a flat rate, like 2.5% on all your purchases, or they're going to give you a decent rate on all your spend categories, kind of like the Gemini card does, where you get 4% back on gas stations, 3% back on dining, and then 2% back on groceries. Probably not a card that I'm going to be adding to my wallet unless they have a really nice sign-up bonus, but it will be cool to see a new innovative credit card on the market. My next prediction is that Citi Strata Elite is finally going to come out. So a couple years ago, there was the Citi Prestige, and this was kind of like their premium travel credit card. They stopped taking applications in 2021, and then the Citi Strata came out to replace it. This Prestige card used to give you 5 points back on restaurants, 5 points back on airfare, 3 points back on cruise lines, 3 points back on hotels, and 1 point back on everything else. It came with a $495 annual fee, but it had a $250 travel credit and 2 complimentary free 4th hotel nights per year. So if you booked a hotel 4 days in a row through Citi Travel, then that 4th night would be free 2 times a year. But I think what happened is Citi was just losing way too much money on that. If people use it right, they could be getting $1,000+ in value from booking that. So it wasn't really profitable. And then there's Citi Strata, now the Citi Strata Premier, is a really good card and it's done really well. Right now, Citi is competing directly with Chase. They have their cashback cards like the Double Cash and Custom Cash, which you can take points from those. And if you get their travel credit card, the Strata Premier, you can move those points and use them for travel, just like the Chase Trifecta. And right now, the Strata Premier does a really good job of competing with the Chase Sapphire Preferred. But what Citi doesn't have is a premium travel credit card that has lounge access to compete with Chase's Sapphire Reserve. So what I'm expecting is for Citi to come out with a card that's somewhere in between their old Prestige and the Chase Sapphire Reserve. Maybe 5 points on flights, 5 points on hotels, 3 points on travel, lounge access, TSA pre-check and global entry, maybe a $300 travel credit, and then some solid travel protections, as well as something like a $500 annual fee. I think that if Citi did make a new premium travel credit card, it would be very good. I'm a huge fan of Citi cards, and in my opinion, after the death of the Altitude Reserve and outside of the Venture X, the premium travel credit cards on the market right now are kind of lacking. If Citi does make this card, I think Chase will have to respond, which leads me to my next prediction, which is that Chase doesn't respond and doesn't really do anything to their cards this next year. The Sapphire Reserve hasn't been updated since 2021, and it really needs a facelift sometime soon. I really doubt Chase is going to make any changes to either their Sapphire cards or their Freedom cards, which is a shame because while Chase has so many good transfer partners, their earning categories aren't that good on their cards. If you go with the popular Chase Trifecta, all 3 of those cards has a 3% dining category, but none of them have a grocery category, and the Freedom Flex would be a lot better if instead of giving you 1.5% back on everything, and then the dining and drugstore 3% back, which is already covered by the Freedom Flex, and just made it a flat 2% card, that would fix a lot of things, but I really don't see Chase making any changes in the next year. I also think US Bank is going to stay where they are. It was really unfortunate that they got rid of their Altitude Reserve. That was a card that essentially gave you 4.5% back on everything when you use mobile wallet pay. It also gave you some lounge access, a great sign-up bonus, and other great travel protections, but unfortunately they killed that card, and some people speculate that a new premium travel credit card is going to come, but I really doubt that. I think that they're trying to make the US Bank Smartly card their new premium card, which gives you 2% back and can give you all the way up to 4% back, but you need $100,000 with US Bank to do that. It's okay if you're willing to move your IRA over. In my opinion, moving that much money for a couple more percentages on a credit card isn't going to be worth it. But the way that this card's marketed, they're really trying to push it as their premium card. They made it metal, and they also got rid of the Altitude Reserve right after it came out. So this is their new top dog, but I don't think it's really going to take off. Okay, so my last prediction for this video, and I'll save this one for last because I don't really think that it's going to happen, but it could be kind of cool. And that would be Capital One coming out with the Saver X. At the beginning of the year, they had 2 Saver cards. They have the Saver, which gave you 3 points back on entertainment, dining, and then groceries, and then the Saver One, which gave you 4% back, but it came with a $95 annual fee. But they got rid of that card and just kept the no annual fee Saver card, which is okay. I kind of favored the Saver card anyways, but a lot of people are speculating that a Saver X card with around a $250 annual fee will come out. Now, this would be really cool because a lot of people are left without a good dining credit card after the Amex Gold increased their annual fee. So if Capital One was able to create a really good dining credit card with around a $250 annual fee, I think that would be really good for them. The problem with that is they got rid of the Saver One, which already gave you 4% back on dining, groceries, and entertainment. So they'd have to give you something more than that. And I don't see them going up to 5%. So they would have to add some statement credits that would still make the card profitable for them, but could also make it make sense for people getting the card that spend a lot on dining and groceries. Drop down in the comments your guys' predictions for 2025 and what credit cards you plan on adding to your wallet.